Hello, my most amazing artist. I'm so happy to have you back here, and we're going to continue our line monsters today. But first, let's say our class mantra. Ready? On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. My mantra: I am positive, I am creative, I am mindful, I am amazing, I am an artist. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. And I am really excited about today because we are going to bring our line monsters to life. Okay, so far we have learned all about lines and the rainbow. So far we should have already drawn our lines all the way down our paper. We should have colored in each of the spaces using the rainbow order. This is the base of our monster. Okay, so today we have to give our monster eyes and a mouth, and optional, we can either, if your monster is a girl, we can give it bows for their hair, or if it's a boy, we can give him a bow tie. Okay, so what you will need today is this sheet, which is going to be linked in your assignment under today's date. You can just bring it up on your computer, no need to print it out or anything. It's just for you to have some ideas on what kinds of eyes to draw, what kinds of mouths to draw, and how to draw a bow if you want to draw a bow. Okay. I'm going to be using a blank piece of paper here, just a white blank piece of paper, but like always, you can use whatever kind of paper you have. And I will be using markers today, but you can use crayons, color pencils. First, I'm going to take a black marker, and I'm going to choose which eyes I want to draw. And when you're looking at the eyes, the eyebrows give a lot away about how your monster might be feeling. Also, you don't have to do 2 eyes because sometimes a monster might have 1 eye or 3 eyes. So you get to decide how many eyes your monster has. I think I want my monster to have 1 big eye. So I'm just going to free draw a circle. And I want to do these heart eyes over here. It might be hard for you to see, but there is an option for heart eyes. But instead of 2 heart eyes, I think I just want my monster to have 1 big heart eye. All right, now remember, we don't want to draw too small because whenever we cut this out and put it on our monster, it'll be like a tiny little eye in the middle. We want it to be kind of big, okay? So don't draw your eyes or your mouth too small, but don't draw them too big either, because if it's too big, then you won't be able to fit anything else on your monster, okay? Just draw it a nice medium size, and I will draw the heart inside of my monster's eye, just like that. And I'm going to skip the eyebrow, but I will put some eyelashes on my monster, and you can do that if you want to. It's just triangle shapes at the top because my monster is a girl. And I'm going to go ahead and color those in. And as you can see, my eye is not a perfect circle, but guys, that's okay if you make a mistake. I'm just going to roll with it. Monsters aren't perfect, you know, so just stay positive if you make a mistake and keep on going, okay? Now I'm going to take a red, and I'm just going to color in this heart. And if you notice, I am really taking my time to stay inside the lines because I want my monster to look as nice as possible, okay? So I have my 1 big eye, but maybe you have 2 eyes or 3 eyes, totally depending on how you want your monster to be. Remember to try to be as creative as possible, okay? Now I get to choose a mouth. And guys, you don't have to do what's on this sheet, but it's a good reference for you to use, all right? So I think I am going to choose this mouth down here. He looks like he's smiling with his tongue out a little bit. And I am just going to do my best to draw this, not too tiny, but not too big either. Nice medium size. So it looks like this starts out as just a line. It kind of looks like a triangle with a tongue at the bottom. So let's see how well I can do this. And he's smiling, so I'm going to do upside down C shapes to make it look like he's smiling. And I will draw his tongue to the best of my abilities. Remember, it's okay if it's not perfect. Just try your best. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Now, the inside of his mouth is black, so I'm just going to color this in black. I've colored the inside of his mouth black. Now I will color his tongue red. Usually monsters only have 1 mouth, so I'm just going to give my monster 1 mouth. But like I said, for your eyes, you can do as many or as little as you want. So you could do 1, 2, 3, however many. But Just give him one mouth. So I have my eye and my mouth done. I do want to draw a bow for my monster. So I think I'm going to draw two bows, like two small bows up at the top of her head. And we can draw this anywhere on this paper, guys, because we are going to cut these facial features out and glue them onto our monster. Okay, so just draw it on a piece of paper and we will cut it out in just a little bit. All right, so I'm going to draw my bows, and it looks like the first step is a circle. My bows can be a little bit smaller, and so I'm just going to do this step by step, just like the picture is telling me. It kind of looks like a butterfly at first, like this, and then it has two little ribbons coming down at the bottom. Okay, like I said, I want my monster to have two bows, so I'm going to draw two smaller bows that can go on her head. So it's like a circle. Let me give it some wings on both sides so it looks like a butterfly right now, but then we draw two strands coming down at the bottom to make it look like a bow. And I think I want to color my bows pink, so I'm going to go ahead and color those. Alright, I have my eye drawn, my mouth, and I wanted to give my monster some bows, so I went ahead and drew some bows. You could do just one bow, 2, 3, however many you want to. If your monster is a boy, then you can just do one big bow to give him a bow tie down at the bottom. But I want mine to be a girl, so I'm going to do two small bows to go at the top of her head like this. Okay? So after you draw your features, we are going to take some scissors and cut out what we just drew. Okay? So when we're using scissors, we need to be very careful. Okay? Because scissors can be really dangerous if you're not careful, and you might end up hurting yourself or somebody else. Okay, so I have my scissors in my right hand because I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, then your scissors will go in your left hand. Okay, your thumb will go into the smaller hole of the scissor, and your fingers will go into the larger hole. So your thumb is on top and your fingers are on the bottom. Okay, so that is how you hold scissors. And there's a few important things I would like to tell you about scissors, just to make sure that you cut it as safely as possible. Okay, so with my hand that is not holding the scissors, I like to call this hand my lazy hand because that's not doing nothing. All it's doing is holding my paper. So I want to give it a job. Okay, my hand with my scissors is just opening and closing my scissors as this hand rotates the paper all the way around. Okay, so if you notice, my scissors are staying in the same exact place, but my hand that was holding the paper is rotating around to show my scissors where to go. Okay, so I'm rotating my paper and I'm taking my time doing really small cuts just to make sure that I'm extra careful I do not accidentally cut off one of my monster's eyelashes here. Okay, so while you're cutting, remember to use your best scissor safety so that we don't have any accidents and we don't accidentally make a mistake by cutting off something that we drew today. So guys, go ahead, use your scissor safety to cut out your eye or your eyes if you did a lot of eyes, your bows if you did some bows, and your mouth. I have just finished cutting out my mouth, my eyeball, and my little bows. So now what we need to do is glue these down onto our monster, okay? And I'm going to do this using just a glue stick, but if you have a glue bottle or if you don't have glue at all, you could even tape these onto your monster. Totally depends on what you have at home, but I'm just going to use a glue stick. And I have an extra scrap piece of paper here that I'm going to glue on, just so that I don't get glue all over my table. So that might be a good idea for you guys to do as well to contain the mess. So what I've done is I've just taken my mouth, and I'm not going to put the glue on this side because if I glue it down that way, then I can't see his mouth. So we are going to flip our mouth over and glue on the back side, okay? And the best way to glue is to put your glue all the way on the edges, okay? So I'm going around the edges of my mouth here because when I put the mouth on my monster, I don't want the edges to start coming up because then it might fall off easier. I want to make sure it is nice and secure. So I'm going to take my glue stick all around the edges. maybe just a little dot in the middle for extra security. And then I'm going to glue it down near the bottom of my monster. Okay? If you are making a boy monster and you wanted a bow down here, you might want to move your mouth up just a little bit to leave some space for those bows, okay? But totally depends on what you've done. And actually, I think I want to move my mouth up a little bit. So you have a couple of seconds, if you don't like where you placed your mouth, to pick it up. And I'm going to put mine at a little bit of a slant. So it kind of looks like my monster is laughing. And I'm just going to press down gently, massage my mouth down onto my monster to make sure all the edges are down. And if you want, you can count to 10 just to make sure it's extra secure. And I think I'm going to do that right now. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And I'm going to do an extra test just to make sure that my mouth is staying. And this is called the wiggle test. Okay. So the wiggle test looks like this. You just flip your paper upside down after you glue something and you go wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You turn it back over. It stayed on. So my mouth has passed the wiggle test. If your mouth falls off, then that means it needs more glue. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my eyeball on. Remember, we're going to flip it over on the back side. And I really want to make sure my eyelashes stay down. So I'm going to put glue on my lashes all the way around the edge of my eye to make sure none of the edges come up. My eye to go. I think I want my eye right in the middle there. And I'm going to carefully press down to make sure all the edges are nice and secure. And I will count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, it looks like it's glued down, but sometimes you can be tricked by glue. So we need to do the wiggle test. So I'm going to flip my paper upside down. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Check. Oh, my eyeball stayed on, so it has passed the wiggle test. All right, I glued my bows down, and they have passed the wiggle test, so I am good. Now I want you guys, if you used a glue stick, make sure you always put the cap back on your glue so that it does not dry out, okay? And after you have finished gluing everything onto your monster, then you are done. You guys did such an amazing job during this project, and I am so excited to see your final monsters come to life. All right, I hope you guys have lots of fun, and next time we will start our very new project. All right, guys, have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.